Hey, this is MassX with a brand new Saint Seiya EX video, and I hadn't been seeing any real discussion or posting in some of the main areas that follow revenue about how this game is doing. Now, the game has been out, I want to say it was about 6 weeks when I'm recording this video, give or take. The global version, of course. There was a version in China, there was the C version that came out about half a year ago now. That was kind of a warm-up for global, and then the global came out. And the game, in my opinion, came out with kind of a flurry. It had a lot of issues, at least from what I saw, from at least the contact with support, as well as where to get your information. The Discord was incredibly lacking. The Facebook was kind of early on, so there wasn't a lot of areas. The Reddit, now they seem to be pumping a little bit more information, not as much as I would like to see if I was a player in a game, but it has gotten better, except for the Discord, in my opinion. I think the Discord is run horribly, personally. That's my opinion. But the Reddit is probably the best single source, as well as their web page, ironically. But I wanted to talk about the game. How is it doing? Because the history of Saint Seiya games has been, they do very good up front. They seem to last a while, but their income and the companies behind them, more often than not, are not, of course, the best, because it is a much more limited market. Why do I say that? Well, because the focus, and this is just from seeing stats through the years, has been very South America and France heavy, not a lot in the US and other jurisdictions. So they have a bit smaller of a base to work with, but the money's always there up front. They seem to tail off. And you know, the games, though, some of these developers are not the largest, so they keep them going because they're able to still get enough of a profit to justify it. So that's going to bring us to talking about this game. So over the last 30 days, and again, take everything I say with a grain of salt. These are all estimates. This does not include anything that they make directly through them on their website. So they could be making double. We don't know because they're not going to release that. But the game is definitely bringing in some revenue. So when you look at that, you know, the revenue for the last 30 days at 600K, down below, there is some discrepancy, but we'll go ahead and show you why that is the case, because I do have a couple different breakdowns, and it's very interesting how this company has two different companies actually running different sides of the global. Yeah, it's a little questionable. eFun is not, I'm not going to call them a bad company. I don't have a lot of familiarity with them. I've played some stuff that they've released through the years, but they also do not have one of the best reviewed, if you look them up, companies out there for mobile gaming. So again, that's really respectable. If we go ahead and go through and look at the other company, it shows another 300K approximately. So yeah, so that does come up to 900,000, that which is not, it's respectable. If you tack in what was purchased on their site, they probably went over 1 million, no problem. So the question will be how this game trails off over the next few months, and that is something of concern of mine because they release new characters weekly. I think that is long-term very bad for a game. What it shows to me is this is a ported over game that was previously released in China. So this is the mad rush to get money. So that is a bit concerning. If they would have spaced it out between 2 weeks at a time, like at a minimum, I think that would help players out. This game in my opinion at least, is not very free to play friendly. Well, let me reiterate that. It's very free to play friendly if you just want to use the base characters. They're not difficult to get. You're going to be able to build them out. But then building up your currency for the banners is going to become increasingly more difficult. They have made some adjustments, so there is not as much available. Now, they did make some adjustments that were better, and we're not seeing the different ticket types. Well, strike that until now. But for the most part, we haven't. And it takes a lot of planning. And because this game is not a game that is... Characters work better with synergies than they do on their own in this game. So if you know what you want to build in advance, or are planning out the characters you want and the ones you know that are going to give you the best synergy that you're going to need to use those characters, then you can efficiently play the game spending not as much. But yeah, there are some absolute crazy accounts out there. Just nuts, which are clearly by the numbers you can see are the big guns supporting the game right now. Now, stacking this game up against the other releases currently out, because there are quite a few other Saint Seiya games still around, but they've been around for a while. They're not making much money anymore, so the competition is limited. Clearly, there was a desire for the players out there to want to play something new and fresh compared to the ones that have been out a while. So it's pretty obvious that, I mean, outside of Legend of Justice, that's the only one making any sort of significant money, and that's questionable to even say significant, at approximately 300K right now a month. So that's a third less, I mean, 2/3 less than what Saint Seiya EX did the first month. Now, that could all blow up and this could drop off fast, but I just don't see that happening because it's got such a devout player base. But you never know, so I want to keep a watch on it. I'm playing the game currently, but I do have reservations for the future with it, because I know that the player base is somewhat limited, as well as the fact that in the end, this seems really fast, and that concerns me. I could see this game pushing all its content and everything through, and then remaining open, but there will only be rerun banners at that point, which is always concerning with the game. But as a whole, for it to get, even close to 1 million, and given that we know that they really push their top-ups on their website, that is probably no doubt made well over 1 million, that I don't think they're going to change anything in the game. So if you are content with how everything is right now, I think, just grin and bear it. I don't think you're going to see any adjustments to assisting free-to-play players. There's just nothing showing that willingness. The communication with the community is very simplistic compared to a lot of other games. And quite honestly, I think it's really being brought out as just a cut and paste from the version that has been already out there overseas. So in those types of cases, and it's not just this game, that is very commonly, they just don't do much. They're looking to keep server costs low. They're looking not to employ a lot of staff, and they are just going to want to continue to push further with just trying to make extra money for a game that they've already developed and already have pretty much, probably, hopefully made their money back. So this is just icing on the cake. So good news is it's made some decent money. You're not going to see a lot about it because the game just outside of those handful of jurisdictions, nobody seems to be picking up on it to discuss revenue and downloads, but the downloads are high. I think it broke over 900K downloads, which is great. I'm sure it was probably over 1 million too, because the APK is available online. I'm not sure if they also count some of the other alternatives out there to downloads. So yeah, solid downloads, a solid first month of income. Now let's see where it goes, because really the first 3 months is your honeymoon period. They're going to have a drop off. The question is how big of a drop off after 90 days, and is it going to be able to sustain what they need to make to keep this game going between licensing fees, server fees, and of course the cost to employ whoever is assisting you with managing the game. So I guess it has a bright outlook right now, so that's the good news. So with that, as always, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Have a great day.